Welcome back to another episode of How to Do Math with Miss Pittman. Hey guys, welcome back for our another weekly video of Math with Miss Pittman. I know it's Thanksgiving break and you're probably wondering why on earth am I getting a YouTube notification on Math with Miss Pittman? Well, let me tell you, when we come back, we're going to start talking about percents. And I thought, what better time to talk about percents than for this week? Math, I can tell you all the time, is in the world all around us. And so today I'm going to prove to you how math is taking place right now on your Thanksgiving break. So we're going to be talking about percentages. I'm going to show you how to use percentages in the real world, doing two different types of activities. So let's get started. First up is Walmart. Now, I know you're thinking, yeah, Thanksgiving, Miss Pittman, we have to go to the grocery store and find food for Thanksgiving dinner. This is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about what happens the day after Thanksgiving. That's right, Black Friday. And so I'm going to show you, when you go to Black Friday here in a couple days, how am I going to use percentages for that, okay? So with percentages for Black Friday, you're constantly saying 30% off here, 60% off here, 40% off here, but you're left with the question, how much am I really going to have to pay for this item? So this is what we're going to do. I'm going to show you how you can figure out what the discounted price is when all you're left with is the percentage off, okay? All right, so let's say you are shopping on Black Friday and you see a Nintendo Switch. That's what you really want for Christmas. And so you really want it, but it's kind of pricey. But Walmart is running a special ad. You can get a coupon for 85% off of one item. So you're going to choose to use that 85% off on the Nintendo Switch, which is right now $349. Well, you're probably asking yourself, well, how much really is that? How much money am I going to have to take out of my piggy bank and pay for this Nintendo Switch? So in just a second, I'm going to show you how you can find that price of the Nintendo Switch using something really, really easy called a percent box. So let's get started. All right, so we want to figure out what is 85% off of that $349 Nintendo Switch. So one of the fastest ways to do this is use what we call a percent box, and these have come in so handy for me. And so what you do is you're going to literally draw a box, much like our ratio box. So you're going to draw a box with 4 sections like that. Because we're dealing with a percent, we're going to have percent labels on the right hand side. And percent, when you're talking about price and mostly everything, percent is always out of 100. So we put our 100 right here. So this column right here represents percents. This column over here is going to be the fraction based off of our price, because we're talking about price here. It's our part to whole relationship. Our whole is the total price that it originally was. The part is going to be how much are we taking off of the whole, okay? Other key words that we use for part is the word is, and for whole is the word of. So when you go back to your question, you can look for those is and of keywords, and you can plug in your numbers in the correct box. As long as you plug the numbers into the correct box, you're going to be just fine. So let's do that. If you look here, we have 85%. Well, 85% is going to go in the percent box because there's nowhere else for it to go. Okay? If you'll notice here, we have of $349, which is actually our total price. That of is going to go in the of box right here. We don't know what the part is that's coming off. That's what we're trying to find. So we're going to leave that blank. We don't know what it is. So then what we're going to do is we're going to cross multiply here. Okay, and we're going to do 349 times 85. I'm going to get out my handy dandy calculator here. And I'm going to do 349 times 85, because I don't know that off the top of my head. As you can see, we get 29,665. So I'm going to write that down here. We get 29,665. Then what we're going to do is we're going to divide that number by our 100. And what we're going to get is $296.65. So this is how much is going to come off of the total price. So $296.65. So that's how much is going to come off. So if you want to know what the actual price of the item is going to be, you're going to need to subtract. So you're going to take your $349 and subtract that $296.65, and you're going to end up with $52.35. That's how much that Nintendo Switch would cost if it was 85% off. Alright, great. Now you've got your Nintendo Switch, you've got all kinds of other sales going on that you've been able to help calculate that price for, and you're feeling good, but now it's lunchtime and you need to stop and get something to eat. And so what better place to get something to eat than my favorite, the Cracker Barrel. And so what you're going to do is you're going to go in, you're going to sit down, you're going to have a great meal, but then what happens at the end of every meal? That's right, you get the receipt. All right, now that you have enjoyed that great meal, at the end of the meal, you get what's called the receipt. You can't leave without paying. And so you can see here our receipt for our meal was $18.27. But down at the bottom right here, it says gratuity not included. That means the tip. So when you go out to eat somewhere nice and you sit down, whether it's at the Cracker Barrel, your favorite Mexican restaurant, or wherever, you're supposed to leave what's called a tip. You also do this like if you go to get your nails done, your hair done, or if somebody provides an act of service for you, you are supposed to leave that person with a tip. So the question is, how do I leave a tip, and how do I know how much to leave a tip? Some people will just randomly give random amounts, which is okay, but I'm going to show you how to leave a proper tip and calculate that based off of your total right here. All right, so let's get started with that. We're also going to be able to use percent boxes for this as well, so let's get started. All right, now we want to calculate the tip for our Cracker Barrel meal. So what I normally do is I usually leave a 20% tip. Sometimes it's 18, sometimes it's 15. Right now we're going to work with a 20% tip. And so my total was $18.27. So I can use that same percent box that I used to calculate the Nintendo Switch price to figure out how much tip I'm going to leave. So a tip is adding on, and a sales percent was discount. So we're going to end up adding to our total at the end. So we're going to set up our box exactly the same. Okay, because we're talking about percents, our labels go over on the side. Okay, and our 100, because we're doing out of 100%, goes there. We've got our keywords, is and of. And now we can fill in the blanks. So I have 20%, so I know that has to go into the percent box. And I have of $18.27, which has to go in the of box. Then I'm going to follow the same exact steps that I did for the Nintendo Switch. I'm going to cross multiply here. So I'm going to do 18 times 27, whoops, not times 27, $18.27 times 20, my apologies, on my handy dandy calculator, and I'm going to get $365.40. Then if you remember correctly, what we do with this number here is we end up dividing it by 100, and I get $3.654. Because I'm dealing with money, I only have 2 decimal places, so I go over 2 decimal places, 1, 2. I look to the back, The 4 tells my 5 to stay the same. So I'm going to be leaving a $3.65 tip. So to figure out the total amount that I'm going to leave is I'm going to have to take the total of the meal and add together the price of my tip that I'm going to leave. Now, for practice, I want you to try doing a 15% tip and an 18% tip and see how it goes for you. Thank you for joining in on how to do math with Miss Pittman on your Thanksgiving break. I hope this was helpful. I hope you use it. I'm going to challenge you to use it on Black Friday while you're out and about, and we're going to work on this more when you get back. Have a great Thanksgiving. I'm thankful for you, and I'll see you soon.